Welcome to another episode of My Midlife Crisis. This is Negative Influence. I am your host, Justin Allen, and today we are joined by London-based photographer Giulia Hepburn. Giulia works full-time in the fashion and commercial photography space, which is something I know a lot of you are interested in. So sit down, kick back, and let's see what Giulia has to say about the wild world of fashion and commercial photography. I've actually been watching your YouTube videos this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like them. They're like very chill, and I like the personality you put forward with them.
Thank you. Still working on it, like what is the best way to show my personality and not look too awkward in camera. Just like, who am I?
Same here. And if you watch my early YouTube videos, I was so awkward, and now maybe I'm just dead enough inside that I can just talk to the camera like it's a friend.
Yes, I understand the feeling that very well.
So you're in fashion photography.
Yes, so basically my main job or something that gives me money to pay my rent is fashion photography, but I still do like street photography that is like my, let's say, passion or like my outcome when I would like to do something a little bit different from the fashion world.
I read your post recently where you were weighing being a fashion photographer or being a street photographer, and you just decided, no, I'm a photographer.
Yes, exactly. It's very complicated. I found it very challenging sometimes. I think in our community as photographer, there's so much judgment time to time, and you can be one thing and that's it. And if you're another thing, is a problem, especially also on a client perspective. If you show that you're very good in polished portrait and maybe you want to try to do, I don't know, something a little bit more gritty, a little bit more avant-garde. They're like, "Oh, no." They're like, "But I can't do that. I just didn't have the occasion yet."
Yeah, you haven't been able to showcase it.
Yeah, exactly. So I always find it very complicated to showcase because I think I can put myself in different situation because of different clients, and I can pass my skills in different types of jobs. Guess what?
That's a way you can differentiate yourself from somebody who may only exclusively shoot street or only exclusively shoot fashion or landscape. Like having that diverse skill set is something very important within any creative industry. So that's just another trick in your bag of tricks.
Yeah. Sometimes I think people don't think in this way that I think is a plus, but it's fine. I guess I just going forward in my way, like, hey, I can do this and that. Take it or whatever, or leave me here.
So, what got you into doing the YouTube? You were doing photography before you started the YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yes, exactly. So I've been a photographer since 12 years right now. It's a long time. And YouTube is something that I always like. And like because I'm an active user, watching so many people, like, oh yeah, this is very interesting stuff. I'm not a person that really comment. I just maybe comment with my friends or like thinking in my head, like, this is interesting. Maybe I should be more proactive in actually having a conversation with them. But a little bit introverted, even behind the screen. And so I decided, why not try to do also some YouTube, especially for the street photography aspect, because for fashion I have to unfortunately put outside in the world because the clients and looking for like potential clients, and street because it's something that I really like. When I try to mix up these two things on my Instagram, for example, the audience was acting a little bit weird, and for the sake of like, let's keep it professional. It's so bad to do this, but like, let's keep it professional, the fashion side, and let's find another outcome for the street. And that's why YouTube came. And as I told you, was I was a little bit awkward at the very beginning because, of course, English is not my first language, and I was like, "Oh my god, people are actually understanding me or not?"
Oh yeah, I think you're easy to understand. I can understand you just fine.
Thank you. And but I was so self-conscious about what I'm gonna say. Is easy to understand me, and I was very much in my head, especially in the first video. But I think everyone is a little bit like in their own head space at the beginning. And then I think right now I'm finally finding my way where it's like more, it's not a video where I'm teaching you something, it's more like a talking. It seems more a self-conscious talk, to be honest.
Yeah.
But but I like this way because I think a lot of people, we don't really share this type of thinking and conversation that we have in our head. So I just put it out loud. So maybe some other people can resonate with me.
I like that. I definitely resonate with you because picking up on those little doubts and everything is something that happens even for the most seasoned photographer. Everybody will have doubts. And if they don't have doubts, they're probably not putting out the greatest bit of work. Because,
Exactly.
yeah, so if they're not nervous, they're not innovating or trying anything new. They've just reached this comfort zone where they're just putting out the same thing all the time. And if you're not nervous, you should be worried.
Exactly, exactly. I really believe in this because, like, you never grow up if you arrive at your comfort zone. You're like, okay, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong to be in a comfort zone. You're happy with that, fine for me. But if you want to grow, I think you need a little bit to push time to time. That's like street photography for me is a big push because, like, in fashion, you have a control of everything. You have control of lights, of people, set. It's everything under like a very rigid control. Street, no. And that's
No.
like, no, that's like, I'm gonna scream. Like, why these people moving too fast? There are so many things happening around you, camera setting and people and surroundings. You cannot control, you just need to embrace this flow and go. And I think it's a good balance for me that like so used to like be a little bit like in control, perfectionism and whatever. And then I'm in a situation that is very uncomfortable because also being close to subject is something a little bit uncomfortable. If you are not knowing them or working with them, you never know. But I found it like therapeutic because also it's pushing me also like to be more proactive, to talk more, and also to try different stuff that I cannot maybe try in a studio, for example.
Do you think it's improved your fashion shooting and your fashion shooting has improved your street shooting?
I think so. Like, of course, like you can do like street portraits that are more like kind in the vibe of fashion portraits, but still like some technique, like the panning, for example, that you can do a lot in street photography is something that I'm trying to introduce more in my picture in fashion. It is very complicated to achieve it right, even if you have flash. But like it's something that I think everything is giving me a little help, like angle, like a low angle, this kind of stuff. Like everything is improving one type of photography and the other.
I read your article on Substack. I think it was you shot London Fashion Week in the style of a street photographer,
Yeah,
which was awesome. It looked different than anything else I saw from London Fashion Week. So I was like, she's
thank
onto
you.
something. She has an idea. I like the way she executed that. It was almost like a behind the scenes of the fashion week.
Yes.
And I very much like
Yeah.
that. I think it was very well done.
Thank you, thank you. I really love it. Like, during this event, basically photography, they stand in a pit and it's very crowded. You can even not move your elbow, nothing. And I was like, I couldn't sit there. I was like, you know what? No, I prefer to be a little bit in another area. And it was the right decision. I even talked with a guy that we actually swap between each other because he had a pay client in front at some point. So I was like, yeah, yeah, you go first. Like it's a different environment, and I like using like body parts of other people in front of me to frame it. And I wanted to tell more the story like of these clothes and people surrounding rather than oh this is a catwalk we just photograph what we saw. It's just a different approach, I think.
If you look at a lot of those photographers' photos, they're from the same angle. It's just slightly off. And yours were very different from different perspectives, which is not something you see a whole lot in fashion photography. So I don't know all that much about fashion photography. I have no idea how to get involved into it. But I also live in a small town in the middle of Michigan who there's no fashion shows going on around here. So I'm interested in it. My friends shoot fashion. But how did you get involved in fashion photography to begin with?
Oh, fashion photography is very tricky. Like, I'm in this industry, but at the same time, sometimes I'm like, I don't know nothing because so I'm always like, I'm always new here. To enter, basically, it's just like I have to say, you need to know the right people and you be to attend events and this kind of stuff. I did a lot of stuff for free, of course,
Oh, yeah.
because it's a thing that you have to do, like attending events for free, covering them. a lot of test shoot for free, and model agency are very like picky, and they're like wanting very specific type of picture, and so many people also involved in like for example for a test shoot. So it's a little bit complicated to enter, like a lots of email. I recently been like full-time freelancer since February, and basically I was like, I'm gonna shoot almost all my days. No, Julia, it's gonna be admin all day and email and talk and search for this event. So there's a lot of like of these involved before actually going on a shoot. And yeah, basically just go talk. For a person that is I'm an intro extrovert, so if I'm in a place, people normally start speaking with me randomly. That it's a plus for me. So normally I'm not the person that go to speak directly with someone. So it's a good point. So sometimes it could be tricky also in this aspect, because you be a little bit to be proactive and just pushing after you have 100 doors in your face close, but sometimes there's one a little bit open. You can try to sneak in.
You said you shot London Fashion Week in street style. What was it like having that creative freedom as opposed to not being a freelancer when it came to shooting your fashion stuff? How much more do you like being a freelancer as opposed to contracting out for somebody?
Oh, well, there's an ocean in between, uh, to be like free to like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and that. Basically, to the London Fashion Week, I went both like as a contractor and as a freelancer. I was kind of lucky, because even as a contractor, they asked me to cover like more behind the scenes stuff and this kind of thing. And so I think the pressure on me, yes, was a little bit high, because there was a big event, brands involved. But at the same time, it's not the catwalk. The catwalk, I think, is the most difficult one to get right. So I was kind of free, but of course I know that I have to deliver certain types of picture, like, oh, let's show the entire garment, let's show the designer, this kind of thing. There are some, it's like wedding photography, there are some specific things that you need to shoot. And this time, during the fashion week, I was like, "I just gonna go. If it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't go," so my mind was really, really free, to be honest. I like the designers involved in this catwalk, so I was like, "Oh, that's very nice," and like I get inspired actually in the moment. It doesn't happen all the time, of course. Maybe you're in an environment, you're like, "Why I'm here?" But that time was very good. So as a freelancer, I really enjoy that.
Half the time I'm out doing a shoot, I'm always like, why am I here? Because you ever been on those shoots that are just soul draining sometimes?
Yes, yes.
Man, weddings for me are those events. I do not like shooting weddings at all. I'm assuming you've shot one?
I shot one for a friend. That's the only one, and it was enough. There's so much pressure for wedding. And again, is another thing that you cannot control, but you have to deliver certain type of picture. So I'm like, oh God, no, no, no. It's like with my two cameras, I was like, oh my God, I look so weird. And it was very, very intense. Also emotionally, because it was also my friend involved in that occasion. So I was like, I cannot cry now. I need to focus properly. So I find it very draining. That like a lot of people coming to you, talking to you. Also, can you do this? Can you do that? What camera are you using? And this kind of things. Like,
Oh, yeah,
leave me alone.
always. There's always that one person who shot photos 20 years ago and they want to give you
Yes, yes.
advice. Yes.
Yes, always. Oh, also in fashion is like this. Don't worry. There's
Oh,
always
is it?
somebody that knows better than anyone else. Yes.
I think it's like that in every industry now.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
the
absolutely.
it's the old guard getting upset about the new guard coming in.
Yes.
When did you come to America to shoot? Because I saw on your YouTube that you shot Yosemite. When did you do that?
Oh, I went last year for like it was actually a holiday with my mother.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, yeah, I love like Yosemite was like one of the places that I really want to go, and for some reason, lucky me, I asked Fuji to basically give me to try the new X100 106, and I was like, "Wow." I was so worried also to break anything because, "Oh my god, this new camera is not mine. I don't know." But, I use it there, and then I use the other camera that I use for travel, that is the X-T5 by Fuji, and I love it. Like, nature is something that always resonates with me because I grew up in a small town in Italy surrounded by mountains. So when I see mountains, I'm happy. And unfortunately, stayed there like basically half a day because it was an organized tour. But if I had occasion, I would stay probably passing the night over there and just like enjoy like the nature and everything.
I so desperately want to go to Yosemite. I haven't been there yet because it's like a 22-hour drive for me or something like
Oof.
that. Because I'm
Okay.
in Michigan.
Yeah.
Places like Yosemite, Yellowstone are places I've always wanted to go. So anytime somebody shoots there, I'm always very interested in what they shot, how they shot it. So you said you shoot Fuji.
Yes, yes. I have many brands in my life. I started with Nikon, and then I was like, okay, fine. Then I moved to Canon, and Canon is something that I still use for fashion because I found it very reliable all the time. Never have an issue. Also for traveling in the past, I used to bring with me Canon, but it's so heavy, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to shoot anymore. It's too heavy. My shoulder is in pain. So when the XT5 was announced, I was like, "Oh, this camera looks nice. It's not too big. It's actually even if it's APS-C, is fine." And I got it, and I fell in love because of, like it gives, the, of course, the film vibes, and I started shooting more and more. It was the camera that I needed to start again to basically enjoy more myself, to go out and decide to shoot random stuff.
There's some cameras that take that pressure off you to
Yes.
where it gives the camera some amount of control and you're not worried about shooting in manual mode all the time. It's just, it relieves the stress of sucking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So sometimes just like I have so many lenses right now for Fuji. I have more lenses for Fuji rather than Canon. That is like weird. Yes, I know, but because they cost also less, I have to say. So I'm like, oh, let me try this, let me try that, and so I found it very interesting. And was basically the camera that introduced me to use a 23 millimeter. That is a lens that I never used before because it's not very common to use in fashion, to be honest. And it's the lens that was so difficult to learn how to approach it, to be honest, because I was always a little bit too far, always a little bit like weird. And now I'm like, okay, finally I know where I need to stand between me and my subject and to catch like the very like the most street photography vibe.
You shoot film. You picked up that Contax TVS recently too.
Yes, yes,
Man,
I
I
did.
am so jealous of that. There's one for sale
Oh.
that's been on Facebook Marketplace for like 3 months, but they want $350 for it. And I'm like, no, no, absolutely not.
I got in Japan, and there was, I think, around, let's say in dollars, it should be 250. And because I wanted the T2, as everyone wants the T2, I think, but I didn't want to spend over 1,000, It's not my main job doing film. So I was like, okay, let's do TVS. And the TVS is interesting. I started my relationship with this camera a little bit like, oh, I expected from you more. But in the end, yeah, because of course I had the idea, the T2 and or the other cameras. But in the end, like I kind of like it because it's very light. The only issue that this camera could have is because you have a zoom that basically there is a little level that inside apparently there's a cord or something like that that can easily break. So I was like, oh my God, I need to be extra careful with this camera. So it's the only thing that I use it very like cautiously.
I desperately want the T2, and a lot of my friends have them, but I won't. The last time I looked, they were about $1,700 in my area, and there's no way I'm spending that for a point and shoot that could die at any time.
Exactly. Exactly. Is the point. Is like if it was like my main job, I'm a very like renowned film photographer. Yes, it's an investment, but at the time, right now, I'm not that person. Is film is something that I do like for fun because it makes me. It's a different even aspect from street photography. I think it's more intimate, almost like kind of pattern and feelings rather than pure street photography. So at the moment, I cannot justify the expenses for the T2.
I haven't spent all that much realistically on all of my film cameras. A lot of them were gifts, a lot were given up from friends who just found them and know I like them. And my Canon A1 was a gift
Mm,
from a friend. So then that's my favorite film camera. So how in digital I shoot Sony. So I have invested a ton of money into Sony
yeah.
ecosystems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Poor you. Like,
Yeah. The new camera I'm excited about that reminds me a lot of the Contax T2 is the analog AF1. Have you seen anything about that coming out?
not yet. So no, don't put me like like back in my mind something to look now.
Well, hang on. So it's going to be $350. It has a 2.8 lens and has LiDAR autofocus.
Okay.
I just sent it to. Do you follow Hans on Substack? He's out in Korea.
Yes.
I just sent him the link right before we started talking. I was like, man, you got to check this out.
Oh, you see. So your affiliate marketing starts right now.
If Analog wants to sponsor the podcast, I would love to talk to him. I just love the camera. I'll put him on the whole season.
Yes. Good, good. So we need this.
I'm going to quote you to yourself.
Okay.
Every lighting condition presents an opportunity to create exploration and expression. And that's something I struggle with because living in Michigan, it's often overcast and snowy and everything's covered. So if I wake up and it's cloudy, I just lay back down. I'm not going out to shoot. And to see you actually go out and shoot in those conditions made me want to go out and shoot in those conditions.
Mhm.
Can you share any of those tips and tricks that you figured out to find that motivation to shoot in bad lighting?
Let's give a contest. So I was living in Italy, place for sun, everybody's happy. Let's give some like stereotypes. Then I moved to London. Okay. London already like you know the answer. London is a very gray city, it's very overcast and cloudy the majority of the time. We were very lucky during the past weeks because it was like sunny, but not today, for example. So I was like you that like, oh, it's so boring. What can I do? But actually, is kind of even if it's a flat kind of light, is better for subject because you don't have harsh light. If you want to shoot people, for example, you don't have harsh angle or weird like stuff under the eye, for example, that nobody looks very nice in that case. So it's like kind of a giant softbox, and you're just going around in that case. And if you're even more lucky and it's misty or this kind of stuff, it create another like energy and vibe to the images that is more like mystical and like what's happening. And like for example in New York, where the underground is creating like the smoke and the from the street, I found it very like visually attractive to photograph, even if it's such a for a New Yorker probably is such the most basic things to see every single day. And so basically, I have like is a lot of pushing myself to just go out and do something. The majority of the time I go out, I don't like normally anything, to be honest. So you know, you go out 10 times, maybe you have 5 picture in the end, but that 5 picture potentially are quite okay. So when it's hard light, I like it. I find it more difficult to manage, but I like, especially in architecture, works much better. And one day I really wanted to. I went to a place that is very well known for architecture here in London. That is called Barbican. That is a brutalist architecture complex. So very much concrete, very high skyscraper, etc. And it was sunny when I was leaving the house. It was not sunny when I went there. So I was like, okay, let's tell this very sad story. like, and I photographed the majority of like people, tiny people in these massive places. So the concept, I started with the idea, I'm gonna shoot shadow and hard shadow. Of course, I couldn't do it because it was not the occasion. So I just changed, okay, why we don't do the human in this big environment that the feeling that inspires this place sometimes is like isolation and like closure and not like very nice feelings. But I really dig in this kind of things because it's like observing from far and be just like a participant, but not actively a participant. I don't know if it makes sense. And a lot of people actually told me that sometimes my picture looks quite kind of sad or like. not depressed, but like a little bit like moody. But and they always ask me, "Are you moody when you shoot in this picture?" But I'm not. I'm normally excited. I'm normally very happy because it's like, "Oh, look at this! Oh, like this tiny person, and it's all surrounded by skyscraper." It makes me like things I don't know philosophically and this kind of stuff.
When I was in school, they used to make us read different pieces by different authors and write what the piece was about and what you thought the author was thinking. And I don't remember which author it was, but I had to do a report on this. And then I read a quote from that author that's like, those teachers are full of shit. That's not what this is about. This is just the story I was telling. And that's kind of like how I feel with photos sometimes. Somebody's like, you've just expressed the deep loneliness. And I was like, I high fived my friend after I took this picture. So I don't know what you mean. It's cool that you can capture that emotion and make people feel. That's what art is making people feel things. So I think it's good that you're in a good mood when you're shooting what could be potentially found as a moody photograph.
Exactly. Like normally, like when I'm out, I'm already happy because yeah, I'm not working, but I'm just like I'm doing something for myself, and I feel myself fulfilled. I always like a little bit dizzy when I go out, and I was recently on in a travel in Japan. That is my favorite country to travel. That if you miss a shot there, you're like I don't know. It's possible to miss a shot in Japan, to be honest. And shooting every single day, like street, I was like, I feel is so like blessed. I want this to be my life, to be honest. Because I was alone, I was with a friend, but then alone taking the picture. I don't have to control other people. I don't have to tell, oh, could you please powder the forehead or this kind of stuff. It's just like you go. If you're tired, you just take a coffee and you're fine.
I've never been to Japan, but I've seen Raf. I don't know if you follow Raf on Substack.
Yes,
Raf has
yes.
been there. Dan from OK Photo has been there, and I am so jealous. I think everybody with a I think I'm quoting myself here. I said everybody with a camera wants to go to Japan.
I think so.
I think so, and especially I'm a Sony shooter. I'm made to go to Japan, but
Yes, you have to, like, where is your ticket? It's your moment.
that travel bug hits so bad.
Yeah, but now, like, at least for UK, the pound is stronger, compared to the yen, so it was a good year to travel right now.
Do you get wanderlust and want to travel often?
I wish, like, I used to travel more when I was a little bit younger, but right now, like, I try to do one big travel per year. So this year was Japan, of course, and then that's it. I think I'm gonna do just a very small trip, like maybe a weekend, something like that. And the year before, I went to California, so I did San Francisco and LA, and the year before New York after 10 years, I think I went the first time. So I try to go, and every time that I go, the experience that I had in the past is completely different. Of course, I'm a different person compared to the past, but also photography wise, I think there's always evolution. So what I photographed in the past right now, it's not attracting me anymore. I'm attracted to other subjects. So I found it very interesting. And also traveling, it gives so much. Like, I don't know, it blow my mind when I coming back home. It's like, who was this person that was living here? Is it me?
You have to rediscover yourself after the vacation.
Yes, absolutely. Is that sometimes also, of course, there are. It's not all like oh happiness and stuff because sometimes I also look at the picture like why I missed this shot or like this is not very good, and I need to calm down myself. It's like there were many things happening around you, and error could happen, and stop being hard. And just embrace the issue, and that's it.
Just make it black and white and say it was an artistic choice. That's what everybody else does.
Yeah, yes.
Those photos you took in Osaka, Japan, were phenomenal. They were great.
Oh, thank you.
I really enjoy your work. I really like that. I don't think it was from Japan, but that A-3 photography group shared it the other day. That landscape, where was that taken?
Basically, it's not very far from where I used to live. So that picture has a very emotional connection with me because it was a place that I used to go when I was a kid, and like all nice memories are there. And I think it's basically you are at the top of this mountain that is like 2,000-meter high, and you're in between the two border between Italy and France. So I because you're so top to the world, like you can see a little bit far. I find it like so fulfilling, and because of the memory, of course. I think like any for maybe other people, oh, it's just a picture of a mountain, but for me, like even the color, like the atmosphere there was so different, and from different also from where I'm living right now, that I need to shot that particular picture to keep it with me, the emotion as a kid and as an adult right now.
I absolutely loved it. I don't think it was just a picture. That's something I would purchase and put on my wall.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal photo. I saw it and I was like, "Who shot this?" And I saw it was you, and I was like, "Yes, she's on the podcast."
Thank you. Too many compliments. I'm not used to, but keep going if you want.
Every photographer's like that. Anytime I give somebody a compliment or quote them back to themselves, they're like, "I didn't expect any of this." Do you have a big photography community that you can rely on to give you feedback and stuff like that, or are you kind of on your own with Substack and Instagram and YouTube?
So you touch the point. So I think I used to think I was a little bit a lone person because I have a few friends that we can count it on a hand that are photographer. But of course, it's difficult also to interact because maybe they're doing different types of picture compared to mine, and everybody's busy. This kind of stuff, or it's not also a super strong friendship. Like, hey, would you like to give me a feedback? Hey. And I have also other friends that are in, they do maybe illustration or arts itself, but I don't want to be bother them. I don't know. I think like, oh no, maybe they're gonna be nice because they are my friends. So YouTube and Substack were basically coming to save me because it's like uh, giving this picture to the void and see what you can get back. And I like the fact there is like feedback from random people from the world that is something like, oh my God, this person from America is following me. Wow. Like I feeling like so weird that is expanding. My Substack is very small at the moment, but like I think I have 20 followers, but I really don't care. I really enjoy the writing part, and I enjoy when people like restock or repost the picture and talk about them. I was like, oh, this is so nice, gonna cry now. I wish to have a community. Like, it's really my biggest dream is to have like a community that I can just go there and like, hey, let's go out, let's hang out. I'm trying to connect with a lot of people on Substack. I follow a few of them. I'm like, oh, damn, I want to travel to your place. I want to meet you in person, hug you, and say thank you. This kind of stuff, and just going around and shoot together. Like I never shoot with like a photographer buddy, for example. That is something that I think I don't know if we can make it work, but it's something that I would like to experience. I'm always more on the side that I'm like sharing my knowledge somehow, and people are listening to me. But I would like to be like on the same level. I think I would like to organize maybe a photo walk here in London, just because, and see what's going to happen.
I think you should. I'm actually looking at doing that in my small town. I was talking with Max about it yesterday because he preaches community. He's like, you have to have a photo community. If there's not one, create your own. Not just online. It's important to do it in person and have that real time feedback. And there's nothing around here, but I'm trying to organize a photo walk, even if it's just people with cell phones. I think it would be a very fun thing to do. There's a small photography school that just opened about 20 minutes away from me by a college in Flint. It's the closest major city to me. And I'm trying to get a spot in there where I can speak and talk to some of the students who may be interested in this. So hopefully I can organize something where those photo walks are together because I do think it's important to have that community and feedback.
Like I did a few workshop. I organized actually a few workshop for boudoir photography or even just portrait photography, like be confident in front of the camera. And every time I'm a little bit anxious because like I don't know what kind of people are coming to to listen to me, but the experience always really fulfill me. Like I like the people asking questions that I didn't think about. That for me maybe is so obvious, but for them it's not. And I really like this, like giving a hand. I'm not a gatekeeper, so if you ask me something, I normally share it because I found it very silly that some people are really like try to hide everything and I man, you know, at some point they're gonna discover. So if they are, especially if a person is very very interested and you can actually get it when speaking with in real life with someone if they really want something, and I think is the best part of like when you are in a community or when you're like doing something together.
I think teaching is very important.
Mm,
And I published that piece on gatekeeping not that long ago as well, because I am very anti gatekeeping.
yeah.
I'll show people how I edit, I'll show them how I shoot, I'll show them everything because it can only make you a better photographer by having these people working with you and alongside you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's enough room for every photographer to earn their keep.
Yes.
There's no need to be stabbing each other in the back or trying to hide things from people. And I've discovered that photography is a bit of a boys club when
Yeah.
it comes to trying to penetrate. Yeah, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I just like shooting photos, and if somebody tries to be hyper competitive or stab people in the back, I just dump them now at this point. I don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, like you have to imagine like fashion photography is a kind of an environment where there's a lot of big personalities sometimes. And I normally look at them like, "Ah, is it necessary to do like that? What do you get from this attitude? I really don't understand. Like people normally dislike you at the end and they don't want to work with you. Like as I think it's very clear. I'm very genuine. I'm just silly. I just like to enjoy what I'm still working. I'm achieving what I have to do, but still it makes these 8 hours together the best 8 hour that you get. So everybody goes home like, oh yeah, I worked, but it was actually okay. I think it's the best attitude to have on a workplace.
I think being humble in every aspect of what you're doing professionally can only help you. I don't think that being mean to anybody is warranted. I don't understand. Why do you want to be miserable? Why are you shooting photos if you're miserable the whole time? Just you could do something. Yeah, you could do something else. You're creating art for your whole day. There's no reason to be that upset about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know if I know that is insecurity. I did so much therapy to understand that people that act in this way is just an insecurity issue. I get it, but at the same time, get over it. Like, you know, like we all understand. You don't need like to be a psychologist, but like you don't. I think you suffer at the same time because maybe you don't have actually like real connection or people that really want to work with you. So it's like it's weird. Like, don't know.
Yeah, it's like they're guarding this pot of gold. And they can't touch it. Just want to. They just like you. They smack your hand like you're a toddler.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, normally sometimes I like when I organize my test shoot, I like to work with people that are not super big in the industry because like you never know, maybe they're gonna be the next mega makeup artist around or the next social media guru. So I really like because normally in this kind of occasion there's a lot of exchange, like the same struggle. We always have the same struggle, and then you say something. Oh, this is makes me think about what I can do, and vice versa. And but maybe because they are still new is also like we are all on the same level. There's not this kind of oh, this person is a higher level, what is gonna think about me, oh my god, I'm gonna be judged forever for my silly question. This kind of thing.
I think it should be that kind of collaboration as opposed to the totem pole kind of where they're speaking down to one another. I very much like to collaborate with people who are into sharing ideas, thought processes, and having a discussion rather than barking orders.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't like it. I'm like I try to avoid as much as possible.
So when you're shooting film, what film stocks are you using right now? Do you have a favorite film stock that you're using?
Well, I very basic. I'm using a Kodak Gold.
Same. Oh, I love Kodak Gold. I love it.
He always deliver. I you have like basically I just cleaned my drawer last week and I have an entire drawer just of film photography and film stock right now. It is divided between 400, 800 plus and 200 and 100. And I see them, I touch them like it's like, oh my precious film. And I never use them. Oh my God. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use or they are actually in a camera and they're like, oh, today I'm gonna shoot with this one. And I, oh no, this is 500T. I cannot use it if I want to do street or this kind of stuff. I always find an excuse. I'm trying to push myself, like finish a role, do it, whatever. And but I have so many cameras, so at the moment I'm like, oh, let me just change. Today I can do this, tomorrow I can do that. But I really should.
What's your favorite film camera that you're using right now?
So, unfortunately, like, it's not working anymore, but was my favorite film camera was the Minolta 7000 because it was my very first film camera, that the one that I used when I studied photography for the first time. And that actually photography was not something that I wanted to do. It's just something that came in the process. I actually found it very difficult studying photography. I was like, oh, so many numbers, so many math here. And the Minolta actually helped me. I used it in program at the very beginning, like to shoot different kind of things, like people, cars, movement, anything. I have so many random picture of everything, but I really like how the picture came out. The lens that is 50 millimeter is very sharp and versatile. So I was like, oh, look at this, it's interesting. And I used it in Japan last time, and then it broke, unfortunately, like the lens, not the lens, the mirror inside. I hope I can actually fix it somehow. So right now, I think my favorite new film camera is the Canon A1 because it's different. It's a completely different camera. Like you need to do all manually, of course, but like it actually is very good again. Like I shot some picture that I still like, so that's an achievement for me. Like point and shoot and camera, I keep getting them. I have so many, but because like I don't shoot with flash, that is like why you get a point and shoot and camera makes no sense. And so sometimes the images are a little bit blurry. Yeah, it's artistic, of course,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah, I want to achieve that exactly.
Vibe.
Well, yeah, the vibe, like dizziness. But like I like them. It's fun to have it in the pocket, but I think I always want to go with when I can control a little bit something. I think this is my fashion photography mind. Like, oh, I need to control something.
Everything is in control. This is mine.
Yeah.
I shoot the A1, and so I have the Olympus OM1 as well. And I thought I thought it was going to be my main camera. I was in love with it, and then I fixed the A1, and I haven't touched the Olympus since. I do want to go back to something you said about you have 500T in a camera that you don't want to use for street.
Mhm.
I use 500T for street photography.
Good. Thank you. So it's a good way. So like, do it. Do it
Do it.
now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I used it the other day that I was doing a test shoot because the vibe was neon lights and like weird angle. I use a fisheye. So it was like, oh, it's gonna be perfect. It's like I took two pictures because there was no time. Of course, I have to shoot more. So like, oh, now I need to finish this roll because I want to see what's happening.
I struggled to finish a roll for the longest time because it's film and it's expensive, and I would just one or two photos at each location and then move on. And now I started bulk rolling film, so now I just dump a roll of film whenever I can. Like I went to this little putt golf course, the mini golf, and I shot those photos there all with a camera and spent too much money developing them. Are you developing at home or are you sending out to labs?
No, I have to send it to labs.
Yeah, there's more of an investment there.
Yeah, exactly. Like like they're very good like lab that I'm using. Both one physically in London that I can just go and drop it there, and sometimes I just send to a different lab that is still in UK, but still all the time like, oh my god, I spent $100 pound, like oh, and you hope for the best basically. It's an investment having this hobby bracket.
Yeah, this hobby is getting to be a financial commitment. That's what this is.
Yes, exactly.
That's where I've been buying everything. I get ads from eBay trying to sell me things all the time now. I think I'm so good at not spending money, and then I'll be laying in bed 1:30 in the morning, and then email from eBay. The Kodak Vision 3 is on sale. I'm like, why are you awake?
Exactly. No, I have the same thing because I look like, oh, let me see, what can I add today to my collection? Like, no. Even my friends send me like a Facebook group, people selling all their camera equipment. Like, stop doing that. I got a problem. I cannot control myself.
Yes.
That's a
No,
big
I
issue.
can't. I got this thing the other day. Have you ever seen one of these? It's a Miranda TL200, but it has a,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I've never seen one. It has a 34 millimeter and a 43 millimeter, and you just rotate it to change it. It's a point and shoot. I have to fix it because the flash is intermittent and not working right. But I thought it was pretty nifty, and I paid $2 for it from a thrift shop.
Wow, that's the best place to go is thrift shop. I got a Yashica, the MF something, for like £6, and I thought, wow, this camera will not work. In the end, it worked very well. It was my very first YouTube video where basically I think I'm talking like, this is my camera, like very silly. It was my the video that everybody's still watching right now. Like, oh my god, I could do. I think I recorded with an iPhone 4 or something like that. Like that is trending right now, but at the time was not that trendy.
Yeah, no, it was not. I think it's funny that all these things are coming back into being popular. Like the Sony Handycams. For the longest time, everybody wanted high definition
Yes.
4K 60 slow motion. Now they're like, I need a Sony Handycam, which is messed up. I just sold mine like six
No.
months ago. Yeah, for $200. I sold it for more than I paid for it, so I'm not that upset about it.
Well,
But now
good.
I'm like, this would have been much easier to just actually shoot it on a Sony Handycam instead of just shooting it on my Sony and making it look like it was on a Handycam.
I know, I know. It's crazy right now. I understand because with all the AI coming through, and we are so bombarded by this like fake stuff, and that I can feel that people wanna like get back to real and what was real film. Like you cannot hide, you cannot yeah, you can do somehow, but it is there, is printed there. You cannot like pretend.
Holding those negatives is more important than holding an SD card. It's more significant to me in having the film, being able to archive it, even though I've got a pile of film I should probably archive because I'm really bad at that.
Same, same. Everything is very stuck, like with the name, but like, okay, I need to find a proper places to put everything.
Man,
It's another job.
it
Sorry,
is.
we are here to connect to make money somehow with photography, but and also we need to do to make an order in our film. It's long.
When you first started film, were you disheartened by the results when you got them back? Were you upset? Or were you just excited the film came back at all?
I was very excited. I think because like I didn't know what I was doing, and even if I had a digital camera at the time, but I think was like, oh, what I did? Ooh, I don't know, like this, very a little bit silly, but at the same time was like, oh, I finished. I just want to be the development, and was like extremely like desire to have it develop. When I come back from Japan, I didn't develop there for some reason. I don't know why I decided for this option, but develop here in UK. And I was like waiting every day, like, please send me the email. They're ready, please. I was really agonizing this email. I want it back. So the film still have it, that feeling.
That's why I started developing at home, is because of that level of impatience. Well, the cost for one, and the level of impatience. I'm a very impatient person, and I know if
Same.
I'm in control of that development, as soon as that roll's done, I'm developing it that night. It'll be ready in 20 minutes and hanging.
I wish I can do that. At some point, I was looking like to buy all the stuff to have my little lab at home, but I'm renting where I am at the moment, so I'm like with a friend. So I'm not sure if she's gonna be very happy with me, like in the bathroom. Like, sorry, my chemicals. This kind of stuff.
I think you could do it because you really, realistically, you only need to be locked in the bathroom for 5 minutes to load your film, and the rest of the time, yeah. And it's shockingly easy. It scared me so bad the first time I did it. I was sure I was going to ruin everything, but it was a very easy process. I was very impressed with how easy it was, and I'm like, why are they charging so much for this?
You see, you see. There's this guy on YouTube, Linus, that he does everything basically. Develop. Yeah, he has a big scanner from Fuji, and I was like, oh dang, I want to do that. Like, where I gonna put this maxi scanner from the 90s?
Yeah,
At
yeah, I
some
want
point.
one. But you need lots of money for one of the, like, have you seen, I can't remember who it was, one of the bigger film photographers on YouTube bought a drum scanner from an old
Oh,
developing lab. So it just takes up like half of his bedroom. It's just got a massive drum scanner. I'm like, that guy has more of a problem than I've ever imagined me having with buying equipment.
There's always somebody that is worse than us, I guess, in this case, and it's, like, reassuring.
I had the problem with point and shoots as well. I have, like, this whole row is point and shoot cameras behind me up here. But there's just something about point and shoots I like because that's what I always shot with when I was a kid. I was just handed the point and shoot, and like it reminds me of vacation pictures and going to the beach.
Oh, that's nice.
But I'm always disappointed every time I get a roll back from
No.
one of those point and shoots. I'm just like, man, what is wrong with me? Just shoot on the Canon. You need to learn.
Well, but it's like the emotional connection that you have with this type of cameras. I
Yes,
think is give the touch, probably the compare maybe with a camera that you never use. Or you like, yes, you can learn, but at the same time, it's like it's the emotion that go through from your head, finger, camera, and maybe you just need to show your picture to somebody else that is not you, and they're gonna tell you
that's true.
like, oh, but this is actually good, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was an artistic choice.
Yeah, yeah. We always go before that lane, but it's working sometimes, that lane.
Oh, yeah. It's an aesthetic. If you just write aesthetic on anything now,
It's my favorite word.
somebody will be like, vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
aesthetic, written in a lo-fi vibe with the space between each letter.
There's some words that get under my skin, but I will take full advantage of them anytime I can. As soon as like a bad picture, aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I control that motion blur.
Exactly.
Wink, wink.
Yes. Jeez, this motion blur was 100% on purpose. Yeah, it's photographers are liars. Don't believe any of them. They'll all just, especially if you're the client.
We're sharing the best skills today, like lie.
What have you found inspiring you in your photography lately?
Oh, this is like this is a big tough question. Well, I try to go more out at the moment and like a museum and stuff and looking for books and like a photographer that I didn't know. Substack actually is a big source of like inspiration. I didn't think about it could be, but actually is like the place that I go. Again, I don't speak with a lot with people, but I will now. This is my statement. But I saw so many nice pictures. I'm like, oh dang, I want to be your friend, please. And or people that write a very long essay, but like they are so deep in things that makes me think I didn't think about this aspect of photography or this aspect of street photography, and now I want to explore. Somebody the other day posting like, oh, I shot this Japanese photographer that now, of course, I forgot his name, and basically it was shooting from the hip without actually looking in the viewfinder. I was like, dang, this is something that I can do. I want to try in film. That it seems a recipe for a disaster, but I think it will be great. Moriyama.
Daido Moriyama. Yeah, that's who it was.
Yes, yes. And so it was like, so there are like, seems like, I don't know, a little book of like little prompt project that you see other people doing and like, oh, I didn't think about it. I want to try. And that's what inspires me right now. I think I would like to go more. It's been a few weeks that I'm not shooting a lot in streets because I'm doing my admin stuff to be hired. But every time I look outside, I dang, I wish today I was out and this kind of stuff. But this week I'm planning to do something at least. I have a smaller Ricoh digital one camera, not the famous Ricoh that everybody has with me that is 10 megapixels. So wow. But is like the other day I was in a bus for a journey for 1 hour and I just shoot people like entering in the bus. I was like, oh, this is a nice point of view because you never know what is going to happen and what kind of people you're going to see. I was like, oh, that's actually interesting. And instead of shooting with my phone, that is always like the first source when I don't have a camera, the Ricoh was fine, like to do that. I was like, okay, snap quickly, don't look creepy at all. Yes,
Have you tried shooting from your chest with a digital camera yet?
not yet. Is
I'm terrified of trying that because I think it's terrifying for a man to do that. Like, it's more intimidating for a man to just be like lurking around with a camera pointed to his chest.
Yeah.
Because I don't look like a tourist. I have tattoos everywhere, and people see me with a camera, they immediately think the worst thing. Like, the only thing I regret about my tattoos is people think I'm a criminal.
Oh, no. Well, I think I look very creepy. Actually, my friends like, "Stop being shifty." But I don't wanna look shifty. I just like because I'm worried to disturb other people, because you're going very close, and I really respect other people's boundaries. So when I'm too close, I'm like, "Oh, maybe this is not good." And it's very, like, against the street photography, like, attitude, but at the same time, like, I don't wanna really interrupt other people's life, but they are so interesting. I need a picture of them right
Right.
now.
I don't know what the laws are in the UK about street photography or anything, but in the US, you can do that. You can just take a picture of somebody on the street. You can walk up with a camera and a flash and just poof, and just flash bang them. And I just can't do that. I've seen so many photographers do it, and it's like there's something about it that just feels very dirty to me.
Yeah, I know. Like, for example, in the past, I used basically to shoot everything looking into the viewfinder, and then it was like, is a recipe to be noticed. So I have to push myself to shoot from the hip. But sometimes I also want to film myself because for YouTube, or also just to see what I was doing. That is very funny normally to rewatch the video. So I have this GoPro basically on my chest. That is, I look like RoboCop, and I know that people at some point they're gonna look there like, yep. So with my little camera doing that, it works. But sometimes is still very very weird, as you say. It's very voyeuristic. That is something like, that sounds very dirty, but I like when, like, for example, in paintings, if we think about Edward Hopper, it was like when he was traveling on the train, he saw people on estates and buildings, and then he painted. And I find it super interesting because you imagine the life of these people. The same I feel in photography, but I know, like, the border, let's say, between, like, extreme intrusive and not is very subtle.
The other day, I saw a video of a guy who walked up with a handheld flash and a camera. Like, it was probably about a foot and a half away and just right in this person's face and kept walking and wouldn't. And there's nothing you can do about it here. It's just that kind of photography is not my. And there's gonna be the people who are always like, well, that's the artistic integrity that somebody else. I was like, no, it's just an asshole move, man.
No, 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 it makes sense. No, I would never be able. I think is a very too much. It's like you cross the boundaries in that case. I don't mind speaking with I did in the past, when I basically started more doing street photography. Actually, go to the person, say, "Can I take a picture?" They normally say yes all the time. So I was like, fantastic. Other people, some people even pose and like, "Oh, okay, good." And they don't even want to look at the pictures. Like, "Oh, that's interesting. I would like to look if somebody asks for a picture. I would want to see." But normally, I never had like bad experiences. Just one guy was like, "Oh, don't take a picture of me. You can ask." It was a little bit like a weird creature. That's that one. But between like these 12 years, it was one time only, so was good.
I've had a couple bad experiences. Just it's like those kind of overreactions, and I think it's a very American overreaction.
I think here in UK people are very polite, and like they may just say, "Oh no," and that's it. And everything. In Italy, I think it will be completely different. I never done street photography in Italy. I think that it will be my wild environment to do it. And like the people are very self-conscious, like, what's happening? Why are you doing that? Why? Like this. But yeah, big cities is more easy sometimes because everybody is so self-concentrated that they just don't care. It's a boy. So there's these perks in big cities if you want to do street photography. In small cities, is everybody knows about you and everybody knows what you're doing. So it's different.
How often do you return to Italy?
Not as often as I want to. But I try. No, sometimes my mom comes here to visit me, and also she enjoy London, so that's fine. And or other times, normally it's like for Christmas, Easter, and like small holiday during summer to see my dogs, especially. Or the most important thing to see is my dog. Are my dogs, and so and where she lives right now is a very like small. I think there are potentially 4,000 people. I don't know, like it's very, very small. There's nothing, and like is intense. So normally there I shoot more, let's say, landscape or like this type of picture, not street photography. I feel that everybody's actually looking at me. Of course, like I have green hair, so it's already something that there is not common. And it happened to me in the past that I enter in a restaurant after with green hair, and people stop talking and they all stare at me. I was like, dang, that is intense. Being on the spotlight like this, no, thank you.
I'm just like covered in all kinds of tattoos. And I walk in and like the heads just just turn and stare at me. I'm gonna go put on my long sleeve.
Oh, then yeah, it's a little bit weird. Like in small environment, there's still this attitude. One time, one person. This was for a paid job. I have to photograph doors. Wow, exciting! It was at the very beginning of my career, and this person, one of the CEO of the company, was like, "Why you got green hair?" Like, does it matter with my skills? And I think my reply was like, "Oh, I like to camouflage in forest." And he stay like silent, like what was she saying? And like, yeah, it was such a silly question. I really don't understand.
Yeah, it's just, again, I think it's that older generation that has more of an issue.
Yeah.
I got major beef with older people, and I don't even want to get into. I don't want to alienate a bunch of my podcast audience, but some of these old people just need to stop. We're creative. We have weird hair. We're covered in scribbles and all kinds of nightmares. Some of us have holes in our face with piercings all over. So, I have had much more positive experiences with those people than I have with the older generation. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna get flack for that one, but I'm leaving that part in.
That's intense.
So, is there any advice that you would have for somebody who's interested in getting into fashion photography in the way that you are?
Yes, my biggest advice. Yes, people take
Don't.
take your notes. No, that's like people normally when I used to be young, and ask the same question. Normally, people say, "Don't do it," all the time. They always say, "Don't do it," and I found like, well, this is not very inspiring. Like we are just trying. So my biggest advice is like there's gonna be 1,000 no, 1,000 projects for free and things that are not going as you want to, and but keep trying, and you will see at some point. And when you are more, if you when you put your step into, you're gonna see if you like the environment or if you don't like it, if it's for you or if it's not, because maybe it's not for you, and that's okay as well. Like you don't know yet until you try, and. Just keep trying, surround yourself with positive people and not fake people. That is the most important thing, that actually are helping you and not get keeping secrets, and like it's just like growing together, and that's the best way to create a good team that can grow together to success. Of course, like it seems very like positive, like if you try you do it. Of course it doesn't work, and like the majority of the time it doesn't work. But try. Like I personally, when I decided to come to London, was like a biggest decision, and I left so many things behind, family, relationship, and stuff, because I really wanted. Right now that I'm doing what I studied and what I wanted, I think, okay, I'm arrived. Like, was it worth it? Sometimes I think yes, because I feel fulfilled personally. Other time I feel like, oh, I'm missing so much out from like families and moments together with people. But you need like to find your own peace, and if you really want it, just try, keep going, and yeah.
I think that is excellent advice. I think that's advice that people need to follow with anything they're passionate about. Is to just realize there's going to be a sacrifice and find your own peace within that sacrifice. I
Yes.
like that. I wanted to know more about your Wolf and Whistle campaign because the photos from that were phenomenal.
Thank you. No, that was a very good campaign. And well, normally for campaign, at the time I was working full time for a company, and this company was actually quite great. I really like enjoying my time there, because it was always a conversation with everyone. It's like, what we gonna do, and we present everyone, like even the, of course, the manager and the director. They present their idea. I present my idea as well, because I was head of imagery at the time, and they were always open into conversation. I was like, oh, let's do this one with the mirror. We can have a dancer, and let's do something a little bit different. And so they followed this lead. It was great, fantastic. And yeah, so I really enjoy it. It was like easy going with this model that was actually a dancer. There was a videographer also involved. And the mirror, that is something that normally scares people because reflection was actually the best part. To create like the vibe that we wanted. It was a little bit like gritty, sexy, and this kind of stuff. So this part in fashion photography where I'm kind of more into the direction of the shoot, or like oh, I want to do this idea. Let's put sand on the floor is for something that actually happened. Let's create a cactus from scratch. Yes, is something that really sparks me. Really like oh yes, I want to do it. And all the steps when you're creating something from scratch is like does it gonna will work or not? And then you see the final images like okay, it actually did fantastic.
It
So
worked.
it's like, yeah, good achievement, another tick on my belt.
So with these campaigns you're doing, do you have to come up with a game plan before you pitch these? So you have to conceptualize everything before you even bring it to the client?
Yes, normally, yes. I normally prepare like a actually mood board that could be like for poses, lights, vibes. Normally, the person that is in charge of what we're gonna shoot gives me what we're gonna shoot, so I know where we're gonna do. So everything is very pre-planned. Of course, during the shoot, you can be a little bit creative if there's time, and like, oh, I didn't consider that. Maybe we can take a picture on this angle rather than this one. There's always like room to do some changes, of course. And campaign are more fun because of course you there are different you the model can move more, there are different angles compared to an e-commerce that is a little bit boring but it pays a bill. But yeah, so basically everything is kind of pre-prepared, and you just it's more easy, so it makes your life smooth. And you don't be like oh my god, what I gotta do now.
It's not showing up to the shoot and be like, well, what are we shooting? And everybody just kind of looks at each other for a minute.
Exactly, exactly. So at the time also I didn't have any assistant, so you have also to come up with the lights scheme and this kind of stuff. Right now I'm working sometimes like they're actually like a studio assistant that is like, oh, thanks God you exist, that you're putting the lights. Like you always learn also from them because maybe they have more experience in big studios and stuff. So there's always like room for improvement and learning in this industry.
I am always extremely nice to the lighting people. Anybody who is
Yes.
setting up lighting, because they can make or break that shoot so
Yeah.
easily. And they're just like, I'm going to turn this 45 degrees and ruin your whole day. Just,
Yeah, yes, exactly. Be friend with them. It is a very good advice. Be friend with people that manage lights.
yes.
They're gonna be your best friend.
Oh, yeah. Have them teach you things because I was trash at lighting for the longest time. And I started making friends with the lighting people. And I'm still not super great at light. So now I'm just like, hey, teach me more. And it's improved a lot. If you look at the lighting from like these kind of videos I'm shooting now compared to the first few of my YouTube videos, I had to hide a few of those videos because they were not good.
We were being all there. I was there. I think I'm still there, but it's okay.
I have covered everything. It's a miracle. I went through that without, well, I only having to check my notes one time.
Hey.
I was prepared, but I appreciate you coming on. This was awesome. I was so nervous because like you shoot fashion professionally. I
Uh,
was nervous for this interview.
really, no. I'm so easygoing. Like I was like, oh, so happy somebody interviewing me. Like, oh, I tell to everyone.
Oh yeah, I was very excited to talk to you because I love the images you're putting out. So I was like, perfect. She wants to talk to me. I am very excited about anytime somebody wants to talk about photography. And there's this thing in photography where some people seem unapproachable and afraid. Like the people are afraid to talk to these people because they don't know how somebody's
Yeah.
going to respond. And I am one of those people who will talk to anybody
Yeah,
about
same.
photography. Even the grumpy old guy who I have not said nice things. Yeah.
They're coming back. That's fine. They're back with us.
Yeah, he'll say something and walk away. I'll enjoy the conversation, but as soon as he walks away, I'm like, he's wrong though.
No, no, I totally understand. I really love talking about photography. I don't have enough photography friends to talk about, so please be my friend. Let's talk all about photography together. And yeah, let's just spread the voice.
Well, anytime you want to shoot me a message or shoot me a video call, you know where to find me. It's Substack all the
Fantastic.
time. But thank you so much for coming on. If there's anything you want to say to people that you haven't had the chance to say, please feel free to do so. Not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah. Oh.
if there's anything you want to plug or advertise that's coming, you can feel free to do that.
Ooh, well, technically, I'm doing a This is like a let's see, a project that is with the queer community,
Oh,
the drag king community here in UK and abroad potentially. So I'm doing this project, taking picture in drag and out of drag. The drag king community is not very well known compared to the queens. I don't know why. Like I know, but I don't know. Let's say in this way, and I really would like to give them the space to shine. Like it's not when I take a picture of them, it's not about me, my ego, my portfolio. It's about them. I'm just basically the person with the camera. And every time I shoot these people, basically I enter in contact with stories and lives that I couldn't imagine. And it's so fulfilling. You have no idea, like, oh my God, you did this happened to you. Wow. And you're here and you're still performing. That's amazing. So this is my main project that I'm doing. It's like almost 1 year that I'm doing it. I hope that I can find a space to publish properly that have like a wide range. Like I really would like to do a book at some point and that can go everywhere.
you should.
And yeah, that is my main project. And then maybe some fanzine about Japan or these kind of things.
Yeah, I think it is a phenomenal project. That is something if there's anybody listening who publishes, that's something I would personally be interested in buying. So I think other people would be as well.
Yeah, thanks.
But thank you so much for coming on. I love everything you do, and I'm sure we will be speaking again soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, for this amazing live chat. It was like, now I'm very happy. My day is made.
Well, I'm glad I could make your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye
Yeah,
bye then.
bye.